Welcome to the practice today. The theme of the practice today is recalibration. And if you're anything like me, living a modern life in a modern world, there can be a lot of stress going on for various reasons in the system. And when I thought about this theme, I looked up the meaning of the word to recalibrate. And it means to, I'm sure those of you who are more wordy than me already know, to check the accuracy of the measurement of an instrument against something that's accurate. And I thought about what is our instrument here in our lives. Our primary instrument is our body, and the way that we measure things is through the nervous system. And primarily what we're measuring is stress, threat, or safety. And again, most of us have had an overload of stress and threat in the system. And so we are calibrated to detect this very easily, and we are not so calibrated to experience things like safety or trust. For some of us, we don't even know what that feels like in the body. So in order to experience more of it in our day-to-day lives, more calm, more trust, more safety, we need to do this calibration. And the way we recalibrate the instruments that we use to do that in yoga is, of course, our breath, our postures, and our attention to our inner world and experience. So I'm going to invite you, and some of you that have studied with me for ages have already been doing this, and this is fantastic, to just begin to move very naturally here in a standing position in any way you want. So you might walk around your mat, you might shake the body around a little bit, you might do that quickly, you might do that slowly. I just want you to really move with what feels good. You might stand still and just experience starting to be more in and with the body in the way that's right for you. Awesome. Then I want you to come to a centered position and bring your feet under your hips. So we're going to play a lot with the structure of the body today and how we find support, because in order to find safety, we need to experience support from things around us, outside, and things inside us. And for us, primarily the structure of the body, the bones, the fascial tissue, and the muscles. So even here, we can calibrate to a more balanced position just by moving, breathing, and paying attention. So I want you to bend one knee and then bend the other. So we're swapping it over, and feel what that's like in the toes as you begin to do this. Just feel how the toes respond. Notice them spreading or gripping a little more on the earth. And just notice what that feels like. Good. Then I want you to take a little bit more of a lean in. So lifting up the heel of one foot, you can choose which one. Actively spreading the toes wide. Coming up so you can feel the toes bending, and then putting a little bit of weight in here and moving it around. So you're inviting those toes to stretch and open up a little bit. So our primary access to support and resourcing is from the ground and is through our feet. And most of the time, they're all balled up and tensed up and not really able to take in that sense of support. So we just want to offer a little bit of opening here and see how that feels for the feet. You might move the ankles around as well if that feels good. So we're just starting to open up. Any kind of movement that feels like it's offering lengthening and opening through the foot or through the ankle. And then letting that one come down. And I want you to take a moment. So we move a little slower. We really want to pay attention. How does the foot that you've invited to open, the ankle that you've invited to open, feel? And how does it feel compared to the other side? Just notice that. Good. And then with intention, spreading the toes of the other foot wide. And coming down onto the earth, toes gripping the earth again. And lifting up that heel and a bit more of a deliberate press down, weight going into those toes. Really exploring. And so again, I find it's really helpful to wriggle the ankle around, and that changes the spread through the toes. Nice. So we're just going to spend a few minutes opening up first through the lower body. And then let that foot come down. And just notice the soles of the feet. And sometimes these little movements and these little openings, we just get access to a bit more of a sensation of our own aliveness. Notice if that's present for you, and if it's not, totally okay as well. So we're going to take our attention to the outer edges of the feet here. We often work to lift up the arches, but here for this one, I want you to really deliberately roll to the outer edges of the feet and press down into the outer edges of the feet, and just feel what that's like through the lower legs. Notice if you're pitching forward into the toes or leaning back heavily into the heels. You might even add a rock in forward and back just to explore what that feels like. And then find your balanced, centered place. Still leaning to the outside, good. And then come back, just relaxing, let the feet take a natural position and notice what that's like. To let go, release the tension through the outer muscles of the legs once again. So often what happens in the body is you might be opening in one place, and there'll often be a balancing contraction somewhere else. So just notice that. I'm going to invite you to just explore that in your own practice and your own body today. Then taking the weight right in, as much as is comfortable. If it hurts your knees, don't go too far. We're just going to lean in to the inner edges of the feet. You can just do this with your energy or your weight, just thinking of pressing down if you don't want to actually roll in. And just feel what that's like. Good. And then coming back to center. I want you to take a breath or two just to notice how you feel relative to the floor through your feet, how your feet feel positioned. Do they feel more open, grounded, connected? Do they feel less like that? Notice the cues of your body. And then softening the knee, or both knees even. Breathing in to take the hands all the way out and up. Feeling that support from the floor all the way up the sides of the body into the tips of the fingers. Then I'm going to exhale just hands to heart first as you breathe out. Good. As you inhale again, arms extend long out to the sides and up. This time forward fold. So as you exhale, soften the knees and bring yourself forward. Woo. If it's the first one of the day, you might notice a little bit of contraction in the backs of the legs. We're just going to stay there for a moment, offering the breath.
And then I want you to deliberately contract a little bit here. So kind of squeeze your body in. You might bend the knees and you're rolling yourself into a little ball. Just tightening all the muscles in the body. And then breathe in and exhale, soften where you are. Ground into the feet. Roll to your in-breath, coming up to standing.
Exhale. And expand out, breath filling the whole body, fingertips out and up. And then exhale, drawing it back in, hands to the heart. Good. And again, as you inhale, take the hands out and up. And exhale, forward folding to the floor.
Let yourself have a little explore here, a little wriggle around through the spine, through the neck, through the head, through the shoulders, the arms. And maybe noticing already, just through the natural invitation, the pose. Where in the body do you notice some expansion? Where do you notice contraction? Gripping the floor gently with the toes as you breathe in to roll up, bending the knees. And exhale to ground. And take a moment, just a breath, to notice how you feel here. A little more breath, a little more movement, a little more opening, a little more attention. What is happening inside your body? Is it opening to the possibility of feeling supported and resourced by the earth beneath you? Is it resisting this? Just noticing. Nice. And taking a breath in, again, all the way out, arms up. Join the hands and exhale. Bring the palms together down to the heart. Good. And then again, hands out to the sides and up. And exhale from the expanded body here as you take a forward fold, softening. And taking a smaller, contracted position, bringing the energy and the body in. So our recalibration is finding this balance, the grounding, the support, the expansion and the contraction, and the rhythm that all of this creates through the body, the rhythm of regulation, the rhythm of our nervous system. And breathing in, rolling up to stand. Exhale and ground. Nice. I want you to take the legs wide. So we're going to use this standing experience first, and we'll work our way down towards the floor. Before we do our relaxation at the end, for those that weren't at the class, we're going to take a moment to get extra blankets and pillows, but I'll give you that cue later. So taking your feet wide, and notice the tiny subtle differences of what it feels like to stand like this compared to standing with the feet together. And you might even swap it around.
a couple of times. Just notice. You might need to slow it down to feel the difference. To step very slowly, take a breath with the legs next to each other and on the floor. And then take a breath with the legs wider. Notice how the body responds and feels. What feels better? What doesn't feel so good? How does the body respond? Good. And then again, I invite you to lift up the toes, spread them wide, place them back down on the feet, soften the knees, and let your sit bones really draw down towards the earth. So I want you to be looking for these sensations of safety, however that might occur for you. There's no right or wrong, we're just exploring that for ourselves. Opening up the chest, lift the heart towards the sky, take the arms back a little bit. We're just going to do it again, taking the arms out, breathing in, expanding first, then a contraction, drawing the body back in, hands to heart. Getting used to this. This is the rhythm of regulation and life and our nervous system, constant expansions and contractions. Breathing in, hands out and up. And then exhale, bend the knees and soften forward to a forward fold with your legs wide here. You might touch your fingertips to the floor. You might take hold of your ankles or shins or rest onto the knees and just let yourself feel your way into the forward fold. Nice and slowly. Notice how the body responds to the invitation of this pose and the offering. Beautiful. Bending the knees and inhale to roll to stand. Exhale to ground. Good. Inhale to take the hands out and up. Exhale, gently press the palms together as you bring them down to the heart and step to the center. Good. I want you to come to the front of your mat. Feet under the hips, hip width apart and toes slightly turned in. So we do this to bring some space and expansion into the, what's it called? I'm having a mental blank morning. I'm fasting in the mornings at the moment, which makes my brain a little slower. Sacrum. So this area of your back, when you have your thighs rolling in, you can get a bit more space. So a lot of us are sitting a lot of the day and this gets very locked up. So I invite you to turn those thighs a little bit in and let the sit bones again really hang down towards the floor. See if you can get some more space. Now a lot of us, we're going to explore safety, support. A lot of us haven't felt very supported and we've taken a lot of this tension into the back, into the hips, into the belly, and it's all locked up and it's hard for us to trust and release and get this sense of freedom. So again, inviting you with really small movements here to just bend the knees a little bit more and see what it might be like to spread and soften through that lower back. A little bit more. Sit bones towards the floor. Great. Awesome. Good. I'm going to take the hands up in front as you inhale, ground through the feet, expanding up through the front of the body, through the lungs, and then exhale, forward fold.
Feel everything through your back, through your spine as you change position. And gently place the hands to the earth, and we're going to step back to downward facing dog. And I just want you to notice what that feels like in the body. Have the feet grounded on the earth and the hands. Do you feel balance? Do you feel stability? Do you feel supported? What do you feel? Do you notice some hesitation or nervousness or contraction? And just offering the body the space and the breath to be with that. Nice. Let's walk back to the front of the mat. I love saying back to front. Coming back to the front. Small steps forward. Feet hip width. So I want you to follow this sequence a little bit through different postures. I'm going to ground, expand, contract, and then find the balance of all of that. So in your forward fold, grounding through the feet. Let's expand through breath into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. And exhale out from the chest, from the ribs, from the belly. Notice the shrinking, the contracting of the emptying out. Inhale, bend the knees, grip the toes to the floor, roll up to stand.
And exhale, just see if you can lean your way into balance here. Ground through feet, open through breath. Muscles that need to be there in supportive positions, perhaps contracting a little bit, and you balanced in between. Nice. Inhale, let's take the breath in, arms up. And exhale, hands together, gently bend the knees all the way back to your forward fold.
Ground, expand, contract, balance. Hands to the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog. Take a breath to feel your way through. So I love vinyasa classes and I love moving quickly through poses, but there's a whole different universe of experience when you really feel through every part of every pose the most that you can. Grounding through feet and hands. And then you notice, where is there expansion for you in this pose? Where is there contraction? And can you feel safe in that movement? Can you find the safety of balance of all those energies and forces? And then let's add on a bit, breathing in to come up onto the toes. Exhale, knees to the floor. Move as slowly as you can with control. And then breathe in. So you can keep your toes tucked if that's comfortable. If it hurts the knees, you can flatten out. Belly down, heart up. And an exhale to round. Draw the belly in and really rounding through that back. So we're going to do this 3 times natural breath, and then we're going to add in yogic breathing. Second time, breathing in naturally, belly down, head and tailbone up. And exhale to round. Good. Again, inhale, belly down, head and tailbone up. And exhale to round. This time as you breathe in, can you really expand low in the body? Breathing into the belly, then the ribs, then the chest. And as you exhale out from the chest, then the ribs, then the belly. If this is hard for you, don't worry. To do that breath in this pose is a little bit advanced, so just do whatever you can. Breathing in, belly down, head and tailbone up, breath into the belly, then the lower ribs, and the chest. And exhale out from the chest, the ribs, and the belly. One more like that. Inhale deep into the belly, and the ribs, and the chest. And then exhale, reverse direction from the chest, the ribs and the belly, and you're arching the back there. Beautiful work. Come to neutral. Take your knees out wide. Touch the toes together, and we're just going to rest a little bit. So the sequence is ground, expand, contract, find the balance, and then find the support and the rest. So let yourself savor a moment, and taking whatever version of child's pose, if you have an existing practice and that's familiar, you can go ahead and do that. If you're more new to yoga, you can follow me with the knees wide and the arms long. And then taking your attention to the places where your body meets the earth. And noticing if your body can receive that support. Notice what happens naturally with your breath here. When the body starts to open up and experience safety and trust, and the nervous system recalibrates, we often find the breathing naturally becomes a little more expanded and deep. And then when we get really relaxed, it becomes very, very subtle and light. And just noticing where your breath is at. Good. Rising back up onto all fours. As you breathe in, ride the energy of the breath. And exhale to align, knees under the hips, toes tucked and hands under the shoulders. You're going to bring your right leg through for a low lunge. That's it. Good. So allow yourself time to move and really feel through the postures. So feeling the sole of the feet on the floor, feeling the tucked toes, the knee. Notice if you can take that in, feel that structural support. Notice if you can feel what it's like to have the knee above the ankle and lean into that front heel and be supported by the structure of your own body. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, a gentle squeeze of the thighs towards each other to support the alignment of the hips as you let the hips come forward and down. Notice where the body opens and shifts and moves. Staying with the breath. One more breath here. Good. And I'd like you to lift up the back knee. So we're going to stay in lunge. You might come onto the tips of your fingers. We're going to come into a slightly higher lunge. So lifting up the back knee, straightening out the back leg and pressing that heel away. And just feeling what that is like around your hip joint. Good. Set that back knee to the floor and take a moment. Just feel through the body. How is the body responding to the invitation of these poses? Is it feeling safe and structurally supported? Is it feeling some nervousness and pulling away from it? Just notice. Offer breath. And as you exhale, bring the hips back to center. Walk the hands back. Bring the right leg back underneath you and swap it over. So bring your left leg through. Give yourself a moment to feel the sole of the left foot on the earth, the right knee, the right toes, your hands or fingertips supporting you. Notice if your body can receive the support of the earth and if it can feel the support of its own structures, bones, ligaments. Good. And then breathing in. And as you exhale, gently drawing the hips down towards the floor, gentle squeeze between the thighs. And noticing how you feel. Good. Lifting up the back knee, pressing through that back heel. Good. And gently setting that back knee to the floor. And bring yourself back, left knee coming back. We're going to come to a seated position. And as you transition, I want you to already be attentive to what does it feel like to sit on the earth, to let my hips meet the ground, to have my pelvis supported and held. And then taking your feet together, soles of the feet together. Drawing a breath in, feeling down through the sit bones, up into the crown. And as you exhale, gently settling forward, belly, ribs, chest rolling forward. And noticing whatever comes up for you as you begin to move deeper into your hips and invite an opening and a release here. Good. Breathing in to roll up.
Gently draw the knees up towards each other using the support of your hands, and you're going to extend the legs out in front for Paschimottanasana. You might take the flesh of the buttocks back a little bit here just to really feel that access of the sit bones down onto the earth. And I want you to take a moment just to register that. Register that in the body. We're moving so fast through our days a lot of the time. The body's having all these responses and reactions to things, and we're not necessarily noticing. So give yourself that space and that time to notice today. Leaning into the fingertips. Breathing into the belly, the ribs, the chest. And then exhale, just a natural breath out here. However it comes. Leaning into your forward fold, walking your hands forward. And letting your torso soften down towards the legs. Notice how your body registers this pose. What does it do inside in response? Beautiful. And a breath in to roll up. And as you exhale, bending the knees, and roll down onto the spine and keep playing a little bit for a moment with this alternation of contraction and expansion. So focusing into the backs of the legs here. Ooh, I'm going to crash into my pillows above my head. Place the soles of the feet onto the ground, the knees are bent, and try to bring your feet close to the hips. So we're setting up for a low bridge pose, but I want you to focus here on more the energy of contraction through the back of the body that we're going to invite, and that actually being something that can offer us also support and structure. Placing your hands by the hips, palms down to the floor, and notice the soles of the feet, the back of the hips, the spine, the back of the head, in contact with the earth. Press your lower back down a little bit into the mat, and you'll feel a contraction. So these are supportive contractions of muscles in the body that work to support movement, stability, balance. Good. As you breathe in, try to keep that press into the spine, keep the position of the hips like that. We're going to lift up, press down into the heels, gently squeeze through the backs of the legs and the buttocks, and lift up to a low bridge. We're just going to hold here for a few breaths and feel that strength and contraction through the back of the body. Good. And then very slowly, rolling the spine onto the floor, relaxing down, and let go here. So let your back do whatever it's going to do. Hold the position, but in a soft, relaxed way. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out, press that lower back down into the floor.
Press into your heels, press into your feet, lifting up to a low bridge pose. So each time we lift up, we're just holding for 3 breaths. Noticing what it feels like in the body. Is it energizing? Is it relaxing? Is it stabilizing? Does the body feel like it's opening up, closing down? Breath in. And as you exhale, gently set spine down to the floor and relax for a moment. 1 breath. Beautiful. Another breath in. Exhale, press the back of the body, that lower back into the floor. Lift the hips up, press down into the feet. Great. Take your 3 breaths and attuning to how you feel. What's it like to squeeze through the back of the body here? Good. Breath in. And as you breathe out, gently spreading the spine back down onto the floor. Nice. Take an inhale. And then exhaling, you take your arms out a little bit to a relaxed position, palms up to the ceiling. We're not staying in Shavasana just yet, but I want you to feel that balance of we're moving into a more expanded position in the body. Legs extended, feet open, arms out to the sides. The back is soft. And again, still playing with this expansion and spreading. You bend up your left knee and lift the right foot up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, press the sole of the foot away. And then you're going to open up the back of the legs. So we're working with expansion through the back of the body here. You might take hold of your lower leg. You might take hold of the thigh. You might take hold of the toes. It really depends on how open your body is and what feels good. What feels right for you when you invite an opening and an expansion into the back of that right leg? How far does it extend? Does your back feel like it's expanding as well? Just notice. Good. Take your hand to the back of your knee here. I want you to experience folding the knee fully supported. So the hand is going to take that weight of the hinging. So you place it in a position where as you bend, the hand is kind of holding the weight of that leg and that knee. Let that come down. Notice what that feels like. And then set your right foot to the floor. I want you to do this from a straight leg position, so extending the left leg long to the floor and then reaching up. So as you breathe in, lifting that left leg up, sole of the foot towards the ceiling. As you exhale, press away and then begin to explore the position of your hands that invites the best opening for you. Maybe behind the thighs, maybe just below the knee, maybe around the ankles. Maybe around the toes. And then feeling through the invitation to expand. Is there expansion there, or is the body pulling away, a bit nervous, not sure, resisting? Just noticing and offering the breath. Good.
Nice. And then placing the hands, or one or even both if you want, under the back side of that knee, bending the knee, bringing both feet to the floor. Use the inhale to bring your knees up to your chest and feel where the body contracts through the psoas muscles, through the front here as you draw the knees in, and where it expands, maybe through the sacrum and the back of the body. Taking the arms out to the sides, shoulder height, palms down, breath in. And then exhale, just rounding off our practice with a twist, taking the knees over towards whichever elbow calls you, left or right. Twist in the direction that feels good for you this morning to start with. Nice. And then inhale to center. Exhale to the other side. Beautiful. As you inhale, coming up to center. And we're going to do something slightly different today than we normally would. So I want to talk about how we want to welcome support. So for those of us that have experienced this stress, a lot of bracing goes into the body and a lot of armoring and a lot of I'll just do it myself feeling. And even when the support is offered, we might find with this finely tuned, calibrated nervous system that registers stress most of the time, that it's difficult to allow that support to be received. So we call this welcoming. This is an active receiving. And I want you to play with this. So if you didn't have a chance to get your cushions and blankets and things at the beginning, get them now. But I want you to start to feel through. So we've got about 7 minutes here for relaxation. And I want you to explore, one of my mentors calls this pillow therapy. So we're going to explore in whatever way feels good for you. So you can watch me and do your own version or just play in your own way by listening to my instructions, however you can. We're going to place the pillows in different positions. And again, notice where the body feels most able to be actively receptive, to welcome in the support. And we know this by tuning to the sensations because the body has a place and a way that it likes to receive it and ways that it doesn't. So we're going to find those places. So I'm going to place my cushions under the knees here. And you might play with the exact position. Maybe it's not the knee for you. Maybe it's the thigh. In fact, I've just moved this for myself and that feels better. I feel more able to receive a sense of support from the pillows there. So really explore for you. I'm going to take a few minutes to do that. Positions under the legs. You might even put the cushion on top of you and feel what that feels like. So I've got a bolster here. I can put that on the front of my body, and the weight of that might feel really soothing. For others of you, it might feel really suffocating and you not want it on. You might put it to one side or the other. Just have a little play around. You can use your blankets in the same way. So I'm going to do a little shallow folded blanket here for my lower back as well to get some support. The bolster's a little big. Okay. And as you settle into the places where you feel that the body is receptive, I want you to give yourself time. I'm even going to put a blanket on the top today too. Give yourself time to just receive it, to marinate it, and to let your system calibrate to what does it feel like to feel safe, trusting, and able to receive this support. And if that's not exactly happening, that's okay. You're just exploring. And gently close your eyes. And again, bring your attention to actively receive the breath. So sometimes we think of receiving like it can be when we've worn ourselves to the point of collapse. That's the only point at which we become willing to receive. And then it's this kind of passive, And that's totally okay too. But a healthy nervous system is a flexible nervous system. We can lean in and out of stress and relaxation with a little less extremes, a bit more fluidity. Giving yourself just a moment more to feel that. And then slowly and gently beginning to invite the body to become a bit more active again, wriggling the toes and the fingers. And notice whether maybe as you begin to prepare, so we're not even there yet, we're just beginning to prepare to sit up, that maybe you might take a little bit of this sense of support with you into your movements, into your day. Maybe you can be present and active without trying so hard. Maybe you can be actively receiving the support
that maybe you haven't been noticing. Moving slowly to stay connected with your body, bending one knee and then the other. Coming out from the pose in whatever way feels good to you. It's advisable to roll to the side, but you just move how you want to move.
Until you find your way back to a seated position for a moment. So when going into or coming out of a yoga practice, I like to think about each level as a level of calibration as well. Being on the floor, lying down, being on the floor sitting up, being on the floor kneeling or standing, all these different levels. I don't think anyone wants to come out of their supported position. I get it. So taking a deep breath here. And just honoring your body, a hand to the belly, a hand to the heart. And closing the eyes and another moment of just witnessing how you feel inside. And being willing to explore and experiment, even as you leave the mat and go off into your day, to just see what happens. How your body meets and responds to the world. And bring your hands together in prayer. Breathe in to ground through sit bones and lift through crown. And breathing out to bow forward and offering up a little prayer of gratitude for whatever gifts and benefits you've received from your body, your breath, and your practice. Namaste.